Porcupine Tree, Fear of a Blank Planet. 6 tracks, 51 minutes, the 9th studio album from the British progressive rock band, released April 2007 via Roadrunner and Atlantic Records. Produced by the band, recorded in London and Tel Aviv. 2 singles were released in the title track and Way Out of Here. This album peaked number 59 in the US, number 31 in the UK, while doing quite well across Europe, even winning Album of the Year from Classic Rock magazine in 2007. The title for this is a direct reference to the Public Enemy album Fear of a Black Planet, and while that album was about race issues, this one is made more about coming to terms with 21st century technology. Go for it.
It's a very atmospheric album, lots of layers to this one. When it gets heavy, the keys and that drop away and the guitars take over, but then it'll do a role reverse and bring it all back in together. I thought that was really clever in the way they sort of structured and song wrote. It all comes back as a great piece of music, and the mood changes are quite fast and extreme, but it still flows. I don't know how they really make that work, but it does. It's a perfectly balanced album. It sounds sonically great. I thought it was really mixed and layered really well. It would have been a hard album to mix, I think, in terms of all the layering and stuff like that, but yeah, good work. Really, really fantastic. I've heard of this band. I hadn't actually heard any product, and yeah, I was quite impressed. It is a little dark at times, even a tad somber. It gets a little bit depressing and very,
It's got weight.
Yes, the weight of the world is on this guy's shoulders for sure at times. It has a bit of gothic tendencies at times, but yeah, it's just very well written. If you like bands like him and Typo Negative, this falls in between those two bands in particular, I thought. This is something that I'll definitely purchase down the track. Nice. I thought it was great. I'd like to go back and hear more of their catalogue to see how they got to this point, because this is a few albums into their career. It does get a little bit repetitive in the formula, so sort of the whole atmosphere, then it goes heavy, then it comes back to atmosphere.
Okay, yeah.
But again, it's their formula and it works. It actually sounds quite fine. But yeah, again, it's almost like a lot of modern day bands, excuse me, where the formula doesn't really deviate a lot. Yeah. And you either like it or you don't. And if you don't, you're not going to like this. Mm-hmm. But if you do, you're going to get something out of it. The standouts for me were Fear of a Blank Planet, Sentimental, and Sleep Together. I thought they were great songs. Yeah. The whole thing is actually quite good. 7 out of 10.
Nice.
The album by Gavin Harrison and those other guys that call themselves Porcupine Tree. First things first, the production is phenomenal. I was a huge Gavin Harrison fan. Drum sound is phenomenal. Guitar sound phenomenal. It's a perfect studio band. This was recorded different.
Two studios,
yeah.
London and Tel Aviv.
Cool.
Yeah. Right next door to each other.
Just like sense. The thing with this band is everything they do is very deliberate and very well thought out. Every note is very deliberate. Nothing is taken to chance. Everything has been tried, tested, and being thrown away, and this stuff used to make sure they get the right note for each thing. And what it does is it takes you on a complete journey from start to finish. This is an excellent record. Porcupine Tree are a great band, and this is one of their finest works. I give it a 9 out of 10. Anesthetize is one of my favourite songs of all time, so that's a highlight for me. And yeah, this is a tremendous record.
Cool.
As you can probably tell, Dave completely missed the point of this episode. It's supposed to be a torture episode, and he's given us an album that I'm even listening to it. I think everyone's going to dig this.
I don't listen to shit music.
Well, that's debatable. How this album got past me for 10 years is
that's the scary part.
Yeah, I really don't know. This is like, to me, I found it to be like a really good Tool or Perfect Circle album with all the shit that drives me nuts on that album taken away, and a lot more effort put into the good stuff and the craft. It was really well done. There's no garbage or filler on this whatsoever. Imagine it's not easy to write an 18-minute song that keeps my attention all the way through. I couldn't do it. So the fact that these guys have done it is pretty impressive. It's beautiful, it's powerful, and it's atmospheric. Music and lyrically, it was a really, really moving experience. I really enjoyed it. Every musician's outstanding. The drums are particularly incredible. I was only listening to YouTube, but the mix sounded great. Like everything sat together beautifully, but I couldn't analyse it too closely because of that. Thank you, Dave, because I loved it. I'll be buying this as well. I thought it was absolutely bloody outstanding. I gave it 9.5 out of 10. Highlights were Anesthetize, Fear of a Blank Planet, and Sleep Together.
All right. This is melodic, heavy, progressive. It's been covered off. It's weighted lyrically and puts me in mind of Killing Joke, actually, of all the bands we talked about tonight. Something about the atmosphere puts me in mind of Killing Joke. It's very well performed. This band isn't afraid of space either, which is refreshing in a lot of these progressive bands. A lot of them like to get busy for the sake of being busy, but these guys leave a great amount of space, which is really good, and it means it's more accessible as well. It's not just, look at me noodling away because I'm so fucking good at what I do. They just... the song. It's the song, and I can't emphasise how important that is to me when you hear musicians just serving that. That's fantastic. They do it on this. They don't get into the overplaying trick at all. Simplistic vocals overall, but they have this knack of drawing you in as a listener just because they're simply honest, the vocal. And I love the different array of instruments and sounds on this one as well. It's really well composed. I love the layers they've written into it. These songs not only build nicely but flow together as a complete piece across the album. All the chapters of a book, which is cool. The heaviness doesn't come from the riffs, it comes from all the drums. It's the weight within the music, so it's more of a tonal thing, it's an atmospheric thing. The lyrical content give it that weight. They've created an awesome vibe on this release. Lyrically built around an interesting concept, telling the story of a Bret Easton novel, Luna Park, where the novel is about the father's perspective. This one's taken from the son's perspective, so it's a switch on the story. And it's one to take in, I think, with the lyric sheet to really fully appreciate it. We didn't have that for this process. But it's pretty deep lyrical content, and the apathy that flows through from that perspective is sometimes rather chilling, and it makes you look at the kids of today going, fuck, I hope that's not where they're at. Production is really good. I was very impressed by this. I love the atmosphere. It's got great use of depth, and the top end to give it a haunting, ethereal feel. The bottom end rumbles and is crystal clear at the same time. The mids for the guitars punch out of the speakers at you, and the vocals are mixed just that touch back, and with the little effects applied to them here and there to make it sort of digitized it, and it just cuts through the right way. This is an incredibly well mixed record. The layering, the use of all the sounds is fantastic. Nothing is here for the sake of it. It's all there to serve a purpose, and it shows. And all those little things, the attention to detail, sucks you in further than you think you would be. And the panning is on point for this release, is all I've got to say. The panning was fucking fantastic. Awesome. The thing about this as well, it's really beautiful stuff. There's some serious balls applied to this in just the right way at the right times. They've got this whole thing down as a complete album. It's very well done. This gets downright metal at times, and then they just strip it right back into this really beautiful piece of music. It's honed, it's well crafted. The placement of the 17 track in the middle of the album is a very well thought out touch there too. The composition of that song also suits the mood of the album at that point in time. This whole thing is just emotion conveyed really well. It's a beautifully done piece. I've never listened to this before. I'm very fucking impressed. For me, this is a band that I really want to go through further now. If you're a fan of things like Killing Joke, I get what you say about Perfect Circle, the good parts of Perfect Circle, then this is one to check out for sure. Dark and brooding, but the beauty of the telling and the composition of the story in that is fantastic. Thank you, Dave. You found another gem for me. Nice. 9 out of 10 from me. Anesthetize, Sleep Together, my standouts. Check it out for yourselves. Let us know what you think.
I gotta talk.
He's going to defend his ridiculous position by putting this one up in the tour.
I know. He picked an album everybody loved. Well, I could have picked a Dream Theater album, but I thought I wanted people to hear this fucking album. Yeah, I know it's been overlooked.
Yeah, but I don't want to spend a week on one album.
Okay. Mental illness is a common theme within the progressive metal genre, but I can't think of a better exploration on that theme than this album. It's downright scary in places. It's interesting that a band that is progressive rock / metal is exploring the whole depression teen culture. The two styles are worlds apart. It's a fantastic observation piece from someone on the outside looking in rather than being on the inside and reflecting on what they've been through. And that's kind of what keeps the listener safe. You're at this distance. It is a very depressing album, but I've never come away from listening to this and feeling like I want to kill myself. Lyrically, it's not beating around the bush or using metaphor or anything. It gets straight to the point with punchy lines like, my friend says he wants to die, and how can I be sure that I'm here? The pills that I've been taking confuse me. And there are countless other examples. Like Andrew was saying, read the fucking lyric sheet. This is one you have to really sit down and follow along. Musically, it would be the best use of odd time signatures to get inside the mind of an unbalanced teen, because odd time signatures can give you that unbalanced feeling, and they've usually harnessed that to put you into that mindset. The use of the spacey keyboards to create the atmosphere, then the aggressive riffs that takes you through the mood swings and confusion. Amazing production. All the instruments are brought together to create such an amazing atmosphere. The song Anesthetize has really creepy fucking panning. Right in the middle is kind of...
Very well done.
Listen to it. That riff kind of fucking echoes from speaker to speaker. Very unbalancing. The cover art is brilliant too. It reminds me a little bit of Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah.
There's just nothing in those eyes, and kids that are doped up on all types of medication can become that.
Look.
Yeah, and the fact that they used it's kind of a teenager in the story, but they've used a preteen on the cover, which makes it a little bit more creepy because shit seems to be happening younger and younger in each generation. So it's fucking brilliant album. 10 out of 10. Fear of a Blank Planet and Anesthetize were my standouts.
Cool. Now that I've switched off the autopilot, we'll now go and give you a taste. Check it out for yourselves. Yeah. Let us know what you think.
No more Rowan Atkinson stuff.
No,
9 pints of lager.
18
pints of lager. Hello. What would you like to eat? A hot dog. I'll see what I can do.
Very good, very funny. Well done, all of you on that.
An onion writer, a cucumber writer, a paperback writer. But I assume that is a little joke.
Very funny.
I'm just going to sit in Andrew's chair if that's alright with you.
Just some papadums and salad and yogurt and shit.